What's going on, everybody out there in the YouTube and comic nation? Welcome back to another Dark Avenger comic book review. This is episode 412, and this is going to be a bittersweet episode, not just because of the comics, not just because we're super late, but because this is officially the passing of the torch. You guys will understand by the end of the video. Or we could start. I could kind of talk about it a little bit now. Now, first of all,
you might as well, yeah.
First of all, we're very late, and that's due to this computer that I'm on right now is an older model laptop. The computer I had last week decided to stop working on Sunday, and I went for an emergency buy on Monday evening, and the new laptop did arrive on Thursday. It's set up already. It's just I wanted to give this laptop one more farewell. It was supposed to be last night for Dark Avenger Live, but things got super busy, and I ended up having to postpone Dark Avenger Live till next week. So it's going to happen on the 412th Dark Avenger comic book review episode instead. Right. So at the end of the show, we'll bid farewell to this laptop. By the way, it's been around since the beginning of Dark Avenger C86. This has seen Dark Avenger C86, Dark Avenger Inc., Comic Frontline, and Brooklyn Boys. I've done Brooklyn Boys on here. What the Card started on this laptop. Frontline Gaming Zone started on this laptop. Comic Frontline and also Dark Avenger Inc. started on this laptop. So this laptop has a lot of sentimental value. It's going to be sad to see this go, but the new laptop is a humongous upgrade. We are going from, or I'm going to be going from Windows 7 and Vista all the way up to Windows 10. Lots of really great upgrades, and hopefully that means I'll be able to do more editing programs as the future rolls in, and there'll be some more upgrades to videos and stuff like that. And who knows, if editing goes faster, maybe I'll be able to push out a video or two extra for this channel. No promises, but you never know. So with that being said, Mike, for this last Dark Avenger comic book review on this show, what week are we doing?
We are doing the week of September 27, 2017. The last week of
Give me a second.
September.
That's right.
And while he's going to go do something, we have 30 books. We have from digital and physicals, from Independence and the Big Two. So, wow, 30 books on a 412th episode was just really something. But, yeah. So while he's doing something in there, yeah, just really something else. Everything okay?
Yeah, I wanted to grab the thing.
Oh yeah.
I wanted to grab that and put it here, yes, because I wanted to pass the torch, and I completely forgot.
Oh.
See, this is what happens when you go live, and I have on my mind. Don't forget, everybody. Also, I know that if you're watching this post live, it won't matter to you. But over on Comic Frontline, Last Ember Press, Brant and Lisa are doing a full 24, well, now it's 26-page comic book in 24 hours. I've been on every part of the show thus far. The last part, if you're watching this live, the last part should be at some point tonight. So I'm very excited to see the end product or where we end up with the book. But anyway, probably by that show, I will be on the new laptop. Unless they're live already, I might just jump over there from this video, and then I'll switch over to the new computer afterwards. It's very overwhelming, by the way. It's literally a humongous upgrade from what I'm used to what is now being offered to me, and it's not a bad thing, but man, it's a lot. It's a lot.
So yeah, and then this computer last week of September and going to something new in the beginning of October, isn't that something?
Yeah, and you know, our books didn't come. DCBS ended up moving.
Again.
DCBS ended up moving. That's why our books have been late. It has nothing to do with anything. Hopefully,
it's understandable, but
right? Absolutely.
Within, I want to read the book.
By the middle of October, I believe we should be getting our books on time. Yeah. And we've been making special pre-orders with Midtown, which are being delivered for all the lenticular Marvel covers. Which I'm going to be doing a full haul video on with all of those covers at the end of the month. So if now I'll be able to do the Dark Avenger haul video a lot quicker also on Frontline.
Look at that.
So once we get them all for the specific month, I'll be doing a whole video. And I definitely, what's up, Tebby? And I definitely want to, there's a lot to talk about with those Marvel lenticular covers that I thought something with me, but apparently it's not wrong with me. It's something wrong with a comic. So let's get into this week's books. I'm going to throw two books out really quickly. Angel season 11, issue number 9.
Yep.
I'm enjoying this issue. Angel is decides. Well, actually, now remember, I read these books a week ago now almost, but what's her name wants to end up going back to the present because she feels like they're messing too much with the past. Angel decides to go all the way back to the past where he becomes a vampire and basically stop it from happening to prevent all the bad stuff that's happened since that point because of Angelus. And the end of the book, he gets to see his dad.
Oh.
For the first time in eons. Very interesting stuff. I'm looking forward to reading more. Buffy, on the other hand, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, season 11, issue number 11.
11.
I love this issue because it's revealed. Almost a year in, we find out who the person was that sent the dragon to attack Los Angeles, and that person was working with the government, and she did it on purpose because she wanted to steal all the cosmic powers so she could become an overlord. Who didn't see that twist coming?
Tevia, save that opinion for Tuesday's Frontline Live.
Especially because we haven't heard any news yet. We're here.
Not to mention, I didn't go this year. Don't even want to know.
Mike's angry he didn't go this year.
But
I'm really enjoying it. You could have broken that vow.
All right, let's go.
But I'm really enjoying Buffy now. I'm super excited to see what happens next because they're fighting her. Now she's super powered. Buffy ends up taking all of the power that she shared with all the Slayers back. So Faith officially loses her abilities now because all of the Slayers' powers are back in Buffy. So now Buffy is like a super powered Slayer again, and I'm really happy also because it takes the power away from that bitch that I hated from the very beginning of the season. That got some of Buffy's power. So I'm loving Buffy. I'm believing now that we're getting through this whole segregation thing and we're getting more back into what Buffy is. Probably I'll be back onto Buffy again. I'm really hoping we get through this Angel traveling through time thing. I didn't even realize. It's only one issue a month, and if Buffy's on 11 and Angel's on 9, it's been almost a full year.
Wow.
A full year in the same story, basically. I would like to move on with Angel at least. Buffy I'm enjoying now because there was a progression, but Angel has been lost in time for almost a whole year, and it's kind of wearing thin. So Mighty Morphin Power Rangers issue number 19. Whoa, the reveal. So Finster has monsters hidden all throughout the world, hiding as humans. And little bits at a time, they're going to be coming out and they're going to be attacking. And the Power Rangers need to be on their feet. And Finster is just loving it. This is definitely making Finster a very... When I remember the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Finster kind of was like, oh, he's that lab guy that makes the monsters for Rita, and that's it. Never really thought of him as like a super threat.
He never really was, kind of.
This comic has made Finster a really formidable villain and
so you
formidable
mean they actually
rival.
Boosted him up?
Oh, they've definitely made him more maniacal, and definitely, I'm loving it. And then we get the big twist at the end that Zordon had a Red Ranger before Jason, before all the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Well, wasn't that the story, kind of, with Zordon? Like, wasn't...
No, that was the movie.
Oh, maybe I'm thinking of something different now.
And we don't talk about that.
Well, I wasn't. I was just saying.
And one thing that I really like is the Red Ranger was the woman that was working with the government and wants to work hand in hand with the Power Rangers. To be continued. By the way, Zordon is still not back. It's going to take a couple of weeks till they can get Zordon back.
What? Oh.
No, Zordon is not the Red Ranger. Not in the comics and not according to the TV series. Only the movie made him out to be a Ranger ever. Glitterbomb, the Fame Game, issue number 1. I thought we were going to be starting fresh with Glitterbomb. And I kind of wasn't cool with that because I mean, not that I wasn't cool with it, but, you know, obviously with the big dramatic ending to the first volume of Glitterbomb, obviously it was going to be somebody else, but I thought we were going to be jumping into something completely new, completely different. So going into this book, I'm like, okay, so we're going to see something completely new. No. This book takes place right after the ending of the first volume of Glitterbomb, and the new main star is the girl that was the babysitter for the movie star who was possessed by that demon. And now, apparently that demon is still around, And this girl who was this girl's baby, this woman, this star's babysitter, ends up getting plastered all over the news as a lesbian lover to this person. And that wasn't true, obviously. But now she's getting ridiculed in school. She's getting made fun of in school. And what was going through the actress in Volume 1 is now going through this girl in Volume 2. However, I don't think she's the one that's being possessed by the demon at this time. I believe somebody else is. And this demon is protecting her, possibly. I don't know. Maybe the woman is back. Who knows? Maybe she resurrected somehow. It's very interesting. And I wasn't thinking I was going to be into it, but I'm really... I'm into this second volume, so I'm looking forward to the next issue. Glitterbomb definitely surprised me from the first volume, and now even the start of the second volume. Very surprising.
All right, so now I did read this, but sometimes you say that you...
I read it as well.
Okay, so we'll both have an opinion on it.
I just don't like that.
Well, let me
go ahead.
see what it is. WWE issue number 9. Now, the cover shows of Roman Reigns because... This is a new story arc because we already had the story of Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose, so now we're going into Roman Reigns.
But one thing I don't like is it's almost a year and a half behind on what's happening in wrestling. Now, I know obviously you kind of have to, because if it catches up to where we're at now, it kind of leaves them in a tiny bit of limbo because, you know, things didn't happen yet. But it's so far behind. I would rather be a little bit closer to present day because this happened. Dean lost the belt already, technically. He moved over to, him and Seth are now tag team partners, and the possibility of the Shield getting back together
will be when they meet that issue after Roman Reigns' story.
But I will say I did like the background they did with Roman, where they kind of made him ignore the fans and just always want to be the superhero, and that's kind of what happened to him.
Right, and that shows him out with his childhood of that happening. But basically, he's going up against Seth Rollins for Roman Reigns' title belt. And when they fought, Seth Rollins beats him, but then Dean Ambrose now has Money in the Bank where he could cash in at any time, any place.
And anyone who watched wrestling knows he does that during that match.
He did that, and then he won the title. Like saying, "Yeah, Roman, I won." And then he's like saying, "I don't want to talk to you about it because."
He was pissed off.
I would agree. I mean, I would be too if that happened. But so that's how it ended. And then the second story just talked about Goldust, and we don't need to.
Goldust, the secondary story was.
It was weird, kind of.
It was very weird.
But we have another book of Robotech issue number 3. Now I read this, so this is actually a pretty good book. It actually shows where Minmi and this boy, I can't remember what his name was, Roy's brother.
Well, I've never watched.
No, Jay has, right. Well, anyway, they're in space somewhere, and they're trying to figure out a way of how to get out because in the last issue, we found out that's going to take them a little bit longer to get home. So they're on this voyage. Oh, excuse me. And the Robotech that they're looking for, they're looking to see where this Robotech is because it's the main importance of the book. So as that happens, they're trying to look for it. So the two of them are found, by the people, because Min wanted to wonder if her family was okay. So they made it out there fine, but there are the other people or an alien or something that says that they have crucial importance of having Robotech, and it's not going to be for good. So that's going to be something I'll be looking forward to and reading in the next Robotech issue. Faith and the Future Force, issue number 3. All of the Valiant characters like Man OWar, Bloodshot, etc., are going up against the robot toaster-like thing, whatever we're going to call it. So they fail at doing it. All of them. Even Bloodsquirt made an appearance, actually, and that was actually pretty cool. But they all tried. And with all of the robots in their mini form, they were like really strong enough. So it gets kind of annoying that, the girl keeps going back in time saying, come with me if you want to change history. And it keeps on being the same repetitive thing. Okay, we get it. Can you not put that in the comic book every issue without fail? But this time, though, Faith knows of somebody that might be of help to defeat this person. This robot thing. And the next issue is going to be concluded. So maybe there's going to be a big bang to it because we don't know who it is. We're going to find out next issue. Red Sonja issue number 9. And this one... Oh, wait, let me just... Because it's a little bit blurry. There we go. So in this one, is basically they're still going on this road trip where Sir Max is trying to find his childhood memories about where he was, and Red Sonja is just trying to find a way to get into like Mexico or something, because one of the cellmates told her about Mexico to kill somebody there, or because there's someone there. And they find this group of people that actually were the people who actually bombed their car and set them on fire. So they're facing off against them. But here's the thing. Red Sonja finds a truck and runs into it. She might be dead. But probably not. They make you think she is, but she's actually not. And Sir Max finds that his Verne place, or whatever it was, is now changed majorly. And that was it to be continued for that. So
Tevi had 2 questions for you.
Oh, how do all those heroes fail? Basically, the robot was had all these big powers that actually took them down like easily. Like it was like some type of power, unlimited power, and some that. And Bloodshot is the guy with the big circle, red circle.
No, he knows who it is. He's asking who Blood. That must have been for some statement you made. So skipping over that, I thought Red Sonja was going to go home, he said.
Oh, well, technically,
she's trying.
She's trying, but with all the presumed dead, we'll find out in the next issue what happens.
All right, Saga issue 47. It's more of an interlude. If you're a fan of the Mark, which I am, we find out who kidnapped him and is now torturing him, because apparently he killed her boyfriend, who was the guy all the way back in the very first volume when he found that child, that place that was basically giving children away for sex. He's the guy that he cut in half. So go back to volume 1. The guy he cut in half is her boyfriend, or was her boyfriend. And now she's got these like wires hooked up to his brain, and it keeps going back and forth between him and then his memories. And she finds the girlfriend's dead. She finds the father's dead. Then she finds Marcos' girlfriend, who was looking for Marcos way back when. And she's still alive. And basically they're going for her, but she finds out some information about Marco and the wife. And now she's going off to kidnap Hazel, because apparently this is something that's going to make the war even better, to be continued. And then you get some preview artwork for another book. Interesting stuff. Again, interlude, obviously leading into something big later on. In the last issue, we had Alana losing, having the baby taken from her. So the one that died. So it was a sad issue. So I like that they keep the Mark around, and I like that they pop him in every once in a while. I'm really, really enjoying Saga. Saga's a really great. We're at issue number 47, I believe now. That's about 3 years worth of books, and it's still going hard and strong. Oh no, more than 3. It's about 4 or 5, because they take breaks in between
that's
each
right,
story arc.
did that. Yeah, I remember.
Good stuff.
All right, I reviewed this on Comic Frontline of Man OWar issue number 7. This is the story arc of Emperor. I do have to admit, though, I'm really enjoying the awesome artwork in this story. I mean, look at this comic book. This deserves credit to the artist of this book. It's really awesome. But basically, Arak is what?
No, I want to say the artist name.
Oh, the artist name?
You just had the page.
Oh, I'm used to going in the beginning. Clayton Crane.
Clayton Crane did a few books. He's very good. I've read his work
amazing,
before.
Really. He's awesome.
And good evening, Mike and Chris. Remember me? If you do, can you give me? Nope, no clue. I'm sorry.
I don't know him either. I'm sorry.
Sorry, my friend.
All right. Well, anyway, there's a war that's going on basically, and Arak is trying to, make to go through that war and everything. But he meets up with basically Sparrow, leader of the Monomen, and there's just like a thing that he's trying to say that the Emperor betrayed the world and he needs to be destroyed and everything, because he's the main reason. The Ring talks to him and everything. And what I like about this is that he doesn't agree with going back to the suit thing. But I will say, though, I really like the upgrade that they gave to Arak in this. So it's not like saying, yes, I'm going to go back to the armor, but I like how they're putting the warrior and the armor thing together, which is what's making the story of Man OWar really awesome. And then you get a preview of Ninja Act issue number 1, which will be coming out in November, and I'll be taking a look at that when that comes out. Unless independent yours.
TMNT issue number 74. The trial of Krang begins, and now it turns out the bounty hunter is chasing after all the witnesses, and now he has a new target, and that's the judge. Also, we find out that I forget what these guys were. The oh my god, it's gonna kill me until I remember the Triceratops race. Why did I forget completely? I forget who it was, but they're working to protect the planet now, and in return, the king promises them their own planet at some point. The trial happens, then they get attacked, and the turtles and the rest of them end up heading to space to defend the planet, and the judge gets it destroyed by the bounty hunter. To be continued. Really good stuff. It didn't make my top 5 this week because it felt like I got through this book super quick, and there were so many other books this week. There were so many books, and Marvel and DC right now have so much going on that, yeah.
Okay.
Speaking of Marvel and DC, that's what we're going into now. But I definitely would recommend TMNT. I'm loving Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Right now, I feel like there's a lot going on. The Krang trial definitely is something that's interesting, but at the same time, hopefully it will end soonish. So, anyway, Batman Beyond issue number 12, which basically is Batgirl Beyond. We get a full story. Well, it's called, they say woman on the cover, but it's Batgirl Beyond. And it's her story. Max ends up meeting up with her and talking with her. She works independent from Batman and the rest of the Bat family. She does her own thing, so to speak. And I enjoyed the issue, don't get me wrong. Again, I feel like it's more of a segue issue. Obviously, she's going to mean something in the future, but for right now, this was kind of her introduction or reintroduction because I don't remember Batgirl Beyond, to be quite honest. But anyway, it was a good book. It was a fun read. Spider-Gwen issue 24. Do I ever wish I had this book physically? I would kill to actually find this book somewhere. And
I thought you weren't fond of Spider-Gwen.
I don't like the artwork. Batgirl Beyond was boring. I find her character. Okay, Tevye finds it boring. I don't like the artwork in Spider-Gwen, but the story is very interesting. This is the beginning of Gwenom, first appearance of Gwenom. Gwen's father's in the hospital. Mind you guys, I'm about 5 issues behind from this issue, so I'm a little lost because I don't know what's happened between the point where I'm reading and now. But I wanted to catch up because this is the whole Spider-Gwen arc, and we're getting a backstory about, you know, Spider-Gwen, how she got her powers and what happened afterwards at some point, and that interests me as well. I do wish the art would change. If the art would change, I really feel like I'd be more into this book. But anyway, it was more of a reintroduction. Okay, it was a reintroduction. So it was a good beginning for Spider-Gwen. Gwen is now possessed by, you know, she was using music to keep the symbiote at bay. The music breaks, and now she's kind of losing control of the symbiote. I know I have the next issue because the next issue, I believe, jumps into Marvel Legacy, and it's part of the lenticular covers. So I probably did get that. I'm going to keep up with this until we finish the Gwenom story arc, and then probably it'll move back to digital. If not, probably it'll already, because I tried again with the art, and you know, even as I'm reading it, the artwork is like it's like the major drawback for me when it comes to Spider-Gwen. No offense. I mean, the story's interesting also, but at the same time, it's up to you guys. If you're fans of Gwen, if you're fans of the whole Spider-Gwen line, you'll be reading this. If you're not, or if you're a casual reader, so basically she becomes this version of Venom. Yeah, basically. Now, a book I'm dropping, Venomverse, issue number 4. I'm done. I'm done. And this is why Venomverse is in my digital pile, and Batman, or as Mike almost called it, Dark Knights, it's called, Michael, by the way.
Oh, it is?
Dark Knights. That's why I picked that up physically and made Venomverse digital, because, my God, this is such a... Oh, my God, I'm about to quote Tevye, but this is a pointless event. It's not even going into Venom.
Pointless.
Now, Venom Inc., which is coming in December, which is crossing over with Amazing Spider-Man, that's interesting. That sounds interesting. It's in Amazing Spider-Man, it's in Venom, and it has its own one-shot beginning and one-shot ending, probably. That sounds interesting. This is not very interesting at all. Done. Done. Trust me, issue 5 of Venomverse is even... Wow. Yeah, I haven't even started this week's books yet. I literally have only read Iron Fist so far.
Yeah,
so once this review is done, I'm going to start reading my books digitally. Our physical books should be coming on Tuesday. So the review will be on Wednesday. It'll be on time next week. But I apologize. This was so late. It's just been a very hectic week. And the book pile is not getting any smaller. It's actually growing.
Dear Lord.
All right, now, book you didn't even remember.
I remembered afterwards, though, and I read it. Suicide Squad is number 26. I really thought I would never, ever see the light of day of Suicide Squad, nor ever say the word Suicide Squad as a title.
Suicide Squad!
Suicide Squad, whatever.
Thank you.
Squad is tomato to mine.
Go ahead.
But anyway, so in this issue, we still have the teams of Damian Wayne, Green Arrow, Nightwing, along with Harley Quinn and Killer Croc. And there's this whole thing where they're trying to go against the this is a metal tie-in, by the way. And
well, it ties into Teen Titans and Nightwing, and it concludes in Green Arrow.
Yeah. So we have another character that comes in, which is Poison Ivy. Now, Poison Ivy comes in, and I find her character in this one to be a little bit... I mean, first of all, she has, like, her little plant friend or something like that. That's kind of like her baby or something like that to her. And after the whole Batman metal... that demonic thing, we see a demon version of Starfire, actually, in this issue. That actually is there. And they're just trying, basically, to sum it up, just to find a way about where Batman is and how they can save him.
That's how all the miniseries
Which is how it's like that.
This feels so much like when Batman was lost in time all over again, but this time the whole DC universe knows about it, and now they're trying to find Batman.
Right, and the whole thing is now going to be continued in Green Arrow, issue number 32.
And then it concludes.
And that one I read. And yes, and that concludes all the metal. Or Gotham Resistance, because that's what it says, Gotham Resistance. So we'll see about that. But it was all right, the issue. But will I ever read Suicide Squad again? I hopefully not.
X-Men Blue. We're back to Marvel for the physicals. X-Men Blue issue number 12. The end of the Goblin Queen story arc. Jean and Cyclops end up attacking. Bloodstorm ends up saving Hank by kind of convincing him to fight against the Goblin Queen. The Blob. Apparently, Miss Sinister did something to the Blob. She kind of evolved him or had him have a second mutation, and he starts to become a legit Blob. And the fight between the Goblin Queen and her X-Men with Jean and the others, really good stuff. It was a really nice issue. Ended pretty nicely. Of course, Hank in the end is the one that betrays the Goblin Queen and ends up sending everybody away. He goes back to normal again. Bloodstorm ends up staying behind. So apparently he leaves her behind because she's betrayed the Goblin Queen, and she ends up joining the X-Men Blue team. We don't know what happened to the Blob, but apparently the next story arc probably will be following. Oh, no, the next story arc is Mogo. So after the Mogo story arc, we might be continuing with the Miss Sinister story. And like I said, Bloodstorm ends up joining X-Men Blue. Hank is back to normal, apologizes, and I guess he's never going to be going the magical route again. And they defeated the Goblin Queen. Interesting story arc. I think this was the weakest of the X-Men Blue line thus far. Kind of reminded me of All New X-Men. I believe this was the arc where they introduced the Goblin Queen is the arc right before I dropped All New X-Men. So hopefully now that she's gone, we'll be back to enjoyment and fun. Scarlet Spider issue number 8. I enjoyed this issue. I really did. So Kane is pissed off that, Ben ended up getting a second chance on life. All his scars were taken away. He was told he has a chance to redeem himself. And he's like, I did so much good. I'm the good guy, yada, yada. Why didn't I get it? And he's like, well, good guys don't kill, do they? I liked it. It was a brotherly fight. And the good news is Kane is sticking in the book. Kane is staying in the book. So I like that because I was upset because, I enjoyed the Kane Scarlet Spider story, volume for a bit. Towards the end, it needed to end. But I'm glad they kept Kane in this book because I feel like if they didn't, he does have the title Scarlet Spider now, so he should be in the book as well. But it turns out that I forgot what the girl's name was. I forget what that girl's name was. But anyway, her brother ends up sending the Hornet to stop supplies to getting to her place, because this takes place after Secret Empire, and Las Vegas was destroyed, if you guys remember, during Secret Empire. So the woman's daughter only has about a couple of months to live, so Pete needs to figure out, not Pete, Ben needs to figure something out like ASAP. Then he finds out there is somebody who might actually have a cure. Miss Mercury is the person I was talking about. So Hornet ends up taking the supplies. Ben ends up showing up saying, okay, I'm going to take the supplies. They fight over the supplies, and then in the end, Ricochet shows up. Who's Ricochet? To be continued in the next issue. Vegas did get blown up, Tevia, but apparently Marvel's making it so that it was only hurt. It wasn't completely and utterly obliterated. And remember, Kubik fixed a few extra things, so I think she fixed Vegas a bit as well.
Yeah, and before I get into my book, just remembered something that happened in Suicide Squad. Mr. Terrific actually appeared in this issue.
And you'll see him more in Green Arrow.
And you'll see him more in Green Arrow.
But I thought I
forgot.
I enjoyed Scarlet Spider. I did enjoy it. It's not top 5 material. Definitely somewhere in the middle for me. I know that the web slingers are coming, so that might be where things kind of pick up a little bit. Go ahead.
Okay, so Frontline also I reviewed this. The Punisher issue number 16. This looks like we finally are going to get a new story arc, because we have a returning character who comes in this book. And it's actually Face, who we haven't seen in a very long while. And, well, let's talk about a total makeover of Face. Yeah, that is what he looks like right now. Creepy. Anyway, so we go to the Punisher, where he actually encounters with... I like the artwork in this one, by the way. He encounters with Face, and this is like taking place in Paris. Or is it Paris? I just want to make sure this is in Paris, because I believe it is.
Another thing I'd like to mention about Scarlet Spider real quick. Peter David and the artist both come from Spidey 2099. The one down thing I got to say about Scarlet Spider is I don't want it to feel like Spider-Man 2099. And it kind of is at times, and it kind of takes me out of the book a little bit. I don't like it. I want Ben to feel unique from what we were getting with Miguel.
Oh, not in Paris. It's in New York. I thought it was in Paris for some reason. All right, well, anyway. So, as they encountered, Face gets away, and the Punisher is trying to find out where he is, and he's trying to tell people on the red carpet, there's like a bomb that's going on and everything, and both him and Face are wanted men from the police officers. So Face makes a message of battling the Punisher to duel to the death, and the police are at the scene where they capture the Punisher. And now it's to be continued in the next issue. So that's a really interesting cliffhanger where we're going to see more action maybe in the next issue of that. And
that's Face, Tevia.
It is, yeah. And it's parental advisory, not for kids, which I've already mentioned. And it's been like that since issue 1 of The Punisher. And Platoon's coming out. I can't wait to read that.
All right, I'm going to double shot this because both of them are the final Generations book. Generations Spider-Man, Miles ends up going back in time to see Pete during the time where Aunt May's in the hospital and Pete fights the Vulture. We don't get to see that here. We get to see Miguel. Why do I want to keep saying Miguel? Miles futzing around during this time, seeing his younger self, dealing with Pete. It's, bumping into Pete at school, dealing with being back in time. And then he has this awesome talk at the end of the story with Pete, and he kind of thanks him for sharing his legacy with him. And Miles just kind of disappears, and that's the end.
Wow.
And Pete, of course, thinks the whole thing's a figment of his imagination, but they confirmed with Captain America that all of these stories, the entire Generations line, none of it actually has them going in the real time stream. They're not going back in time legit. They're going back in time through Kubik. So whatever they do in the past does not impact the past. It's not like Back to the Future where if you say something to somebody, it affects the whole timeline. They're not going back in time. Kubik is sending them to a moment that happened in time to have them interact with the characters, but it does not affect present-day Marvel. None of the Generations book affect present-day Marvel, and I have to say that because Captain America, which is the final book in Generations because it gives you that period at the end of the series. Sam, all the characters up until this book have gone back only for a brief moment, a day, a moment, a time, and then they ended up coming back. Sam ended up spending his entire lifetime, all the way till old age, in the time stream. Basically, Sam is sent to World War II, where he becomes a Marine. He fights alongside Captain America, makes best friends with Cap, witnesses Cap disappearing, knowing Cap disappeared. He goes back to, everyday life, becomes a priest, fights for equal rights. And of course, he has children. He gets married, grows old. Cap comes back to life. He gets to see himself teaming up with Captain America. And now every so often, Cap ends up visiting the priest, and they end up talking. It goes all the way to when Cap actually turns old. And I believe it goes all the way through until Sam Wilson becomes Captain America. And that's where him as his old self, he goes to bed, falls asleep, and is sent back to present day. So Sam got to live an entire lifetime before coming back again. So he gets basically starting all over again. And we find out that every single person who went back in time, every generation person, they were asked the same question. Where's Kubik? They don't know where Kubik is. Kubik is gone, but she's safe and hidden somewhere. And the best thing I could say here is he gives Cap back the shield, because we all know that Sam's going back to being the Falcon, and tells him, I know you're going through a hard time right now, Cap, but I believe in you. You need to believe in yourself, wow. And I know you'll bounce back from this. So basically, this is the beginning of the Falcon again, and Cap gets his shield back, so Captain America is going to be coming back as well. Killed two birds with one stone, basically.
All right. Well, that was actually something. I never thought I'd see the Falcon do that.
Marvel Legacy, the lenticular cover, which honestly looks better on camera than it does when you're in print. No, actually, it does about the same thing. Does about the same thing that you would see with your eyes. It's supposed to go from sketch to color, but the only thing I see is it going from black and white to color. I'm guessing you guys are seeing the exact same thing, and it's even hard to get it to do a full, like if you notice, you can't get everything to turn black and white at the same time. It kind of follows the fold. So, and Brent mentioned this on part 2 of the last Ever Pressing, and it's true. You know what the best lenticular part is? This part. This looks amazing lenticular, but the lenticular covers, I should have learned. If Marvel makes crappy covers where your thumbprint gets stuck on the cover,
I was gonna reference that.
Why would I think that their lenticular covers would be any better? Their lenticular covers don't work, people. They don't. So if you wanted a lenticular cover, think twice, because it's not as good as, for example, what DC is doing. So they made cheap covers. They made cheap lenticular covers too. I'm not really a fan. I feel bad. I pre-ordered every single lenticular cover from now all the way through until they're done. So their covers are crap. This is a glorified setup for, I would think, an event, but it's not. It involves like the Eternal, one of the Immortals. We get little tips and tidbits here and there. Nothing with Spider-Man, only Green Goblin. We get to see some Avengers BC, a story that I just decided to skip over with Ghost Rider and Starbrand because I could give two craps about it. Same thing with Loki. Same thing with Deadpool, and we get a little Defenders teaser here. We see the Avengers, which leads into the story that's happening this week. We see the Fantastic Four. We get a little tease to the 2-in-1 that's going to be coming out. Goes back to Ghost Rider again. All I'm going to say is I came away from this book really liking two things. First thing, Wolverine. The original Wolverine. Logan. Not old man, not young Jimmy Hudson. The regular age Wolverine Logan is alive. So Kubik somehow, some way brought Logan back. Or Logan came back on his own. Obviously, this is going to lead into a mini-series or a story later on down the road. I don't care. I'm happy. I got one of the people that I did not like when he died. I mean, I have the comic right there, The Death of Wolverine. I'm glad. Not even 2 years later, because that was the last Comic-Con, last New York Comic-Con I went to. It's been 2 New York Comic-Con since. So 2 years later, they brought back my Wolverine, the regular age Wolverine. It's not too bad off in effect, but not worth extra money. I do wonder how continuing the series covers will look. First of all, Jabe Jabez Creed. I hope I said your name right. Number 1, welcome to the review. Number 2, I got this week's lenticular covers. It doesn't get better. But yes, this is a glorified preview, and I feel like Tevia mentioned that as well. And one thing I really like was the last page we get to see Franklin and Valeria. So that kind of says, hey, they're still out there. They're out there somewhere. Don't worry. We know that you guys missed the Fantastic Four, but they're out there somewhere. So Marvel is at least giving us the nod that the Fantastic Four family, they're out there. Maybe one day, but not 2 days. We'll see them again. But all I care about that happened in this book is Wolverine's alive. When are they going to capitalize on that point in this story? Well, DC capitalized on Wally being alive literally the next issue in every series, or in every series he's connected to. When will Marvel talk about Wolverine? Maybe a half a year. The final parts of Justice League Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, issue number 6. Power Rangers Justice League team up to fight Brainiac. Long story short, they win. Angel Grove is restored, and so is the command center. Alpha ends up cleansed, or we think he's cleansed anyway. But there's definitely a hint at the end of this book that we will be seeing a crossover again, probably in Boom Studios this time, though, because this one came out of DC. DC has this really cool thing with the crossovers where one is from DC Comics, which is this series, and one is from Boom Studios, which will obviously be the next one. For example, Batman the Shadow, issue number 6 of 6.
Another conclusion book.
Another conclusion, and then guess what came out this week? The Shadow and Batman out of Dynamite. So this one's out of DC Comics. I want to make mention of that because, like I said, they didn't waste any time. Batman Shadow crossover from Dynamite is happening. It happened this Wednesday. The first issue dropped. It's crazy how fast they went with Batman and the Shadow. But anyway, the conclusion to this is Batman is cured. He does not accept the powers of the Shadow. He does not want to be the Shadow. He is Batman. The world needs Batman. The world already has a Shadow. They fight. Just like with the Mighty Morphin Power Ranger line, Batman and the Shadow end up defeating the Joker and the Stag, and that's basically it. And then the Shadow tries to convince Batman that, you know, it's a curse, yada, yada, you know, you need to be the Shadow, and Batman's like, why don't you let me train you? I can teach you that it's not a curse being who we are. It's something good. And he's like, if that's all you believe in.
He has not the scarf on his face?
Yeah, in the end of this. He's like, you've learned nothing. He's like, no, I don't, he's like, you've learned nothing. He's like, I know everything. Like, he doesn't think he learned nothing. He knows.
Well, because the Shadow knows.
That's the little ha 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 at the end. So
that's what he says. He laughs, ha ha ha, if he says it.
No, I know, but Batman kind of gave the little oomph because of that. So I really enjoyed that. I thought this was a really great conclusion with Batman and the Shadow, Batman Shadow. Now this week, Shadow Batman starts, and actually the advertisement, ironically, is right here in the book. I just want to show it real quick, and then you could pull that one out of the cover while I'm doing this. But yeah, starts literally. It starts this week. I ended up getting the Alex Ross variant for the first issue because I love Alex Ross's artwork. So I'm looking forward to it. I like the series of panels where Shadow's face keeps. I do too. I like that. See, that's one of the Shadow's powers, and I really like that he has the ability to change his appearance.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, it was a really great book. I'm really looking forward to Dynamite's version now of this series. And we're getting Batman TMNT Volume 2 starting in December. My God, I'm really Volume 3. I'm sorry, Volume 3, Volume 2 for the comic crossover.
Wasn't it Ghostbusters and TMNT?
That's going to be a weekly from IDW. So there's a lot of great crossovers going on. So Nightwing New Order issue number 2. This got me into the book finally. The first issue made me very iffy. This definitely brought me into the book more. So basically, we get a little bit more of a background on what happened and why Dick did what he did in the beginning, the first couple of pages. We find out that the kid is his and Cora Starfire's child, and his powers are developing, and he's immune. He can't take the inhibitor pills to stop it from happening. So him and Alfred end up having a conversation. Alfred ends up, promising the boy that, don't worry, Jake, your father and I will stand by you. We'll stay by you no matter what. Then somebody rats out Dick, and it turns out that his core end up attacking and wanting to take Jake away. Alfred, unfortunately, ends up dying. This is the first of 2 books where Alfred dies this week. And Jake ends up being taken away along with Dick being arrested. Now I'm invested in the series. This is a really great, and that's a huge abbreviated. I'm abbreviating through these because it's getting late, guys. And Last Ember Press is going to have the live show soon. And these books are super late anyway, so I'm just getting through them.
I'll get through mine too. Justice League of America, issue number 15, I'm sorry. I saw Panica in the Microverse. That's why I got confused. But anyway, just to sum this up, this is where what was his name? Ray. Yeah,
Ray.
Where Ray Palmer. I forgot because it's Ron. Yeah, where it's Ray's side about what happened with him in the Microverse and all of his backstory of why he doesn't trust Aught, like what you told Ryan in the last issue. And that's the whole thing of the book. Like, he gets close with Prion in this issue, as you can see right here. Artwork's really great in this issue. And she is claimed to be dead in this issue with that happening. So with all of that going on is now him with the
guy that
Aaron that he teams up with, and yeah, they're just bigger things that happens, and that's going to be in the next issue of this comic book. So that's what I really talked about. Like, it was just really Ray Palmer's story of you know, what happened with him in the Microverse and why it took Ryan a long time to find him.
Detective Comics 965. Where has Tim Drake been? Well, we find out, and we get the reveal of who Oz is in this book as well. So we get a bit of a backstory where, yes, DC Rebirth confirms everything that happened in the past that brought Tim Drake, as you know, that made Tim Drake Robin, is back. Tim Drake did not start as Red Robin anymore. They redid. They put all of Tim Drake's history back and exactly the way it was before. So I'm very happy about that. And now Oz actually sees something in Tim that he saw in himself, and the big spoiler here, spoiler alert, is that Oz is Jor-El.
I couldn't believe.
We got that spoiler last week anyway with action 2 weeks ago. So Oz felt like he had to help Tim and told Tim, listen, trust me, don't go back. You're like me, stay here, learn how to work this place like I did, because it's a prison. It's where Jor-El was until he learned to escape, and now Tim, same thing. So somebody's in the prison with Tim and reaches out to Tim and tells him, open my cell. And stupidly, Tim opens every single cell. And I love how the Batman there is like, why did you open all the cells? I wanted you to just open my cell. And now everyone in the prison is free. We don't know who yet, and obviously this will lead into possible future stories. But we find out that this Batman is a Batman from an alternate timeline, possibly, and it's Tim as an adult. So Tim becomes Batman. Oh, I shook the computer. There we go. And I believe this plays into the future. Remember, we got that one shot from Batwoman? I believe this is playing into that future, possibly. And it turns out since Tim opened all the cells, he freed Doomsday as well.
Let me see Doomsday. Oh.
To be continued. To be continued. I'm really excited to see what happens next.
I thought Doomsday died.
No, Oz took him way back in the beginning of Rebirth.
All right, here you go.
I'm very excited to see the next issue of, what do you call it, of Detective. Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps 29. Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps kick all the Guardian, or whatever these things are, these, they're trying to free Yaga Khan, or Yuga Khan, and that is High Father's father, and he's evil. And these, why can't I remember what these beings are? Trying to remember the name of the beings. I don't know. The cosmic beings, they end up fighting them. They end up finding their weak point. Hal Jordan joins the fight. And one by one, they get taken down. That's basically the long and short of this book. And then Highfather gets to see his son Orion survives. Kyle kind of collapses because he had been doing it for 2 days, keeping his construct without food, without water, without rest. And yeah, basically Orion owes, he's in debt to Kyle for keeping him alive for 2 days. He's in a lifelong debt to Kyle Rayner. So that's the end of this story arc. The next story arc continues where Superman left off, taking the Sinestro ring to space, to the Green Lantern Corps, with Parallax in it.
Yeah. I reviewed on Comic Frontline. I don't know why this is on the top pile, because this should be on the
I'm sorry,
pile.
I must have made a mistake.
The Hellblaze issue number 14. I'm done.
Mike's done.
I can't.
I mean, we're getting one more book regardless, but you don't have to review it.
I'm not. I can't with this book. I mean, it's just. First of all, the artwork doesn't really get any better, really. I mean, it's just, to me, it just got very different. And it just goes back to when, it was just basically John Constantine, how he met with Margaret Ames, who was a police, but then became a detective as the issue, as the life continued. And then he encounters with these 2 demons who mean no good. Then he gets into this Cavasur name, which was very boring. This whole issue itself...
Bad, Tevia. Very bad.
No, it's boring. War on Dwarves is going to be next. I thought it said Dwarves, but Dwarves, not interested. I can't. This book, I mean, I thought maybe in DC Rebirth they would change, like the New 52, but I told you it was going on downward slope, so 3 strikes are out.
Dark Knight's Batman Murder Machine. It's crazy how Jordan flew faster than the Omega Beams. I know, right? He flew faster than the Omega Beams and took out like 2 of the totems. It was a very good story, though.
How bad is Hellblaze Tevia? Bad. Don't recommend it.
So this one-shot, I love these covers. This one-shot covers Batman, who now Alfred was killed once again in this world of the dark matter, of the dark universe. Batman's dead, and he goes to Cyborg to try to bring back Alfred the way Cyborg was brought back, and Cyborg wished he could help. It turns out Batman went and made his own version of the of Cyborg, and it ended up possessing him. And now basically this version of Batman wants to possess and take over Cyborg. He ends up destroying the entire world, and it's all because of course, once again, he's promised by, I forgot the guy's name now, but he's promised a place in the new world. He ends up taking down Cyborg, and basically that his world is now kind of like a Terminator world, where Batman is kind of taking control of everything. Really interesting stuff. Again, if you're interested in these one-shots, involve Batman taking over fill in the blank. This one is Cyborg. I am the least interested in Cyborg, so this one is probably going to be my least interested out of the full run series. Next one is Green Lantern, though. I'll be interested in reading that one. So, the final book and the lenticular cover done right. Look at this. See, it's one picture here. See, it's one picture here, and it goes nice. See, that's how you do. Marvel, look at this book. This is how you do a lenticular cover. See? No matter what I do, it fully changes, and then fully changes again. Fully changes again. Okay? This cover is done right, not done cheap. Just saying, Marvel. So this is the whole origin of what happened, how Jor-El came back and how he was abducted through time. He was sent back, the grandfather is the one that's the fault to why Krypton, nobody left Krypton. He deleted the files that Jor-El found, and he said he did it for his own good. Krypton is destroyed. Superman goes to Earth, and Jor-El somehow was plucked right before he died from Krypton and ends up landing on a dark part of Earth. This, again, I believe, is Dr. Manhattan manipulating now Jor-El, who's manipulating Superman. So he's already gotten into Batman's mind, where Batman saw his father during that crossover that they've been advertising with The Flash. If it's in this book, I don't know. Yes, it is. As a matter of fact, it is. During the Button story arc, where he messed with Batman's mind, where Batman's now second-guessing whether he wants to be Batman anymore or not. Now you've got Jor-El. He lands him in a dark part of Earth, where he sees nothing but bad, and then he's whisked away somewhere else, which we all know is the prison, and he's forced to watch all the bad things that have happened on Earth and none of the good things. So basically, where Superman Clark got to see all the beauty and the wonderful things on Earth, Jor-El saw the opposite. And now he tells Clark, get your family, get your stuff. We're leaving Earth forever. To be continued.
Wait, who's that told Superman?
Jor-El.
Oh, I didn't see it.
But now I'm wondering if this is Jor-El from this world or Jor-El from an alternate timeline, which I'm believing is more and more a possibility. We'll find out when we have that Booster Gold Superman crossover that's coming. But anyway, that was a really awesome book. I loved it. It only got second place because Detective Comics, the Tim Drake coming back part was really awesome. It was hard. It was very hard. It was a toss-up between the two. Honestly, I hate rating my books, and I feel both of them were very strong. Both of them deserve a #1 spot. So I'm guessing Jor-El, when he sees his grandson, John is going to... No, he already knows about John. He's already talked to John, too. So before we go, that's the end of this review. And that's the last time I will be going live, unless Brant and Lisa are going live with the Last Ember Press thing right away. That on this channel. Let's go with this channel only. That's the last time we'll be going live on this channel with this computer. The last review I'll be doing with this computer. Starting next week, I will be moving into new hardware. And that new hardware is, I'm working on a Toshiba satellite right now. Toshiba satellite, this was way back. Figure my channel's about 8, almost 9 years old. The alternate Tim proves some alternate universe. Exactly. See, I'm going to say Creed. I'm sorry, I can't say the first. Jabez Creed. That's what I mean. If they have an alternate universe Tim, and that's what got me thinking also, if they have Tim from an alternate world or an alternate future, why not Jor-El? So with that, I will be leaving the Toshiba satellite behind, Windows 7 and Vista, and I will be moving into an HP i7,
like that.
An HP i7 17-inch screen. This thing is super thin too. I love it. And I found where my speakers are finally. My speakers are actually underneath my system, which I really don't like too much. So I'll probably still be using my regular.
Creed works too.
Creed works too? Awesome. So I'll probably be using my big speaker still with this computer unless I find a way to prop it up. Because right now it's a flat computer also. I would like to prop it a little bit like my Toshiba is. I might end up buying a fan to put underneath it. That'll help prop it up a little bit more. But this is the computer I'm going to be working on starting probably tomorrow, depending on what's happening tonight. This is the computer I'll be working on from this point on. Windows 10. It's going to be super fast. I've got all my programs on here. All my files have been moved already. It's got a lot of convenient stuff on here, but it's very... Not very. It's minorly overwhelming. I know, right? Thank you, Creed. I love the matte finish. I do love the matte finish, but as you can see, it definitely gets those fingerprints, which I will be cleaning the top of this now, obviously, but it does get those fingerprints. The matte finish is gorgeous. The inside, I'll open it up real quick. The inside is really nice as well. Like I said, it's a 17-inch screen. 17-inch screen. I got to get used to the new arrow key layout. The mouse pad's really nice. I'm sorry if there's fingerprints on the bottom. I was working on it yesterday, so really nice. It's a bigger screen. It's a bigger everything, honestly. It's what I definitely needed.
Oh, I've just seen my reflection. Oh, yeah, and they can see that too.
So really great stuff. It has all the things I need, the USBs. Even has an SD reader on the side instead of the front because I always found that inconvenient. Really great stuff. I would definitely recommend this. It's on sale at Best Buy right now. This computer, an i7 Intel Core 8 processor, i7, 8 gigahertz, Windows 10 with all the beautiful finishes, 1 terabyte hard drive. Is only $600. It's only cost me $600 to get this computer plus tax, of course. Worth the money. It's a humongous upgrade from what I've been using, and I'm really excited to get into this computer starting tomorrow. I have to get used to it. I actually have everything set up and installed on here, specifically starting for next week.
2 questions. Is it better than Windows 8? And
yes.
Can it play games?
Actually, ironically, I can connect my Xbox to this. If I wanted to, I could play
Mine does that too, actually.
Mine allows me, if I log into my Xbox on this computer, I can play my Xbox games on here. I won't be doing that because this is not a gaming computer. I do have Minecraft installed on here because you can only play Minecraft, or the Minecraft I play is only playable on the computer. But other than Minecraft, I have an Xbox One up there. If I want to play Xbox, I'll play on the Xbox. Steam, I could use Steam on this also. It does have, no, I took off the Connect, dude. Steam is also installed on there, so I can actually play some Steam games on there. So maybe Five Nights at Freddy or something, but nothing big. I'm not putting an Xbox anything on this computer. It doesn't need it. It doesn't. It's a work computer. I did find another computer I'm very interested in, and that one might actually be the one where I put games and stuff on. But that's for the future. We're talking about the present. So HP i7 is where I'm going to be moving to after this video. I'm going to miss this computer. This computer's not leaving. I'm keeping this computer in my life. It's just not going to be on. It's not going to be my main anymore. I might actually keep it on a table and keep it plugged in. So if I ever do want to go back and work on like 2 computers at once, I'll have this one. Probably I'll be using this one when I do a live viewing from now on, instead of using our mom's, because that's what I've been doing, is using our mom's because of the, to have 2 screens. So I'd like to bid farewell to a computer that's been more than a partner with all the stuff that I've been doing on this computer, but it's been there. It's been reliable. Unfortunately, bad things happen when virus scan programs end up not working, or you forget to update it for a while and things get into your system. But it's been 10 years. It's been a wonderful ride. Thank you, Toshiba. I gotta stop hitting the computer when I'm touching it. Thank you, Toshiba. Thank you, Satellite, for being an awesome computer. HP, we are moving forward, and we are definitely going to be evolving and growing into something hopefully new. We'll be seeing with the newer programs, the newer windows. You never know. It definitely will evolve the videos. It will catch the videos up to where we're at now with technology. Who knows? I might even find a better editing software where videos will be even better. So video quality and stuff will be evolving as well, which I'm very happy. And hopefully rendering will be faster, so I'll be able to do more. All good things must come to an end. Very true. And thank you for that. And thank you all for being here. So once again, as always, guys, take care. Keep reading, keep collecting, and we will see you guys really soon in the next review.
Hey, everybody.